Hello and welcome to Rise and Shine with Alissa. I am the consultress, your hostess for this podcast in the age of disruption, where nothing is normal and everything is new and up for review. I have the privilege and the pleasure of bringing people here that I personally connect with and have a lot of respect for, as well as inspiration from. So I am jazzed and delighted to introduce you all here to my good friend, accountability partner, and strategic ally in business, Laverne Wilson. Welcome to Rise and Shine, Laverne.
Thank you. And thank you so much for inviting me to do this. I am just so happy to have you as an accountability partner, as a friend, as a colleague, as an inspiration. Probably that's the greatest thing you've given me is inspiration. So thank you very much. And thanks for inviting me.
Oh, amazing. I'm blushing. And you can tell, like my cheeks go bright red. Well, I want to just open the door to the dialogue that we have. We meet very regularly, so we have this rapport that goes back and forth. We kind of sharpen each other's saw in a way. And when I realized I really wanted to do more with my online presence and I wanted to do more with my offers, that's kind of what sparked me to say, hey, Laverne, I think we could help each other, challenge one another. Did you have that same inkling on your side when we started way
Oh,
long ago?
absolutely. Absolutely. I know that accountability partners are really important, but you got to have the right accountability partner. You have to have somebody who's not judging you and yet pushing you a little bit, who's encouraging you, but also realizing that, we can't do everything. So, I think that you have been like your energy. I love your energy and your enthusiasm. And most thing that I like about you most is your willingness to pivot, to be able to pivot, to grow and to develop your business and be willing to be okay with moving in a different direction. Not, well, I said I was going to do this. Well, you know what? That didn't quite work out, so I'm going to do this. And to me, that openness to new ideas and new thoughts, as well as being accountable, sort of keeps you on that road. And yet at the same time, if you get a fork in the road, your inkling says, I think I'm going to go this way a little bit. And to have that permission to do that and to know that some other great entrepreneur is doing that, is the thing that I like about our accountability.
Oh, amen. What Yogi Berra, I think, said it best: when you get to a fork in the road, take it, right? It's,
Right, right, right.
it's
And
great wisdom.
I've been doing a course with a couple of women that I know, and it's called Unlock Your Bliss. And every day we do something else, and we're transitioning from the L let go to the I invest in self care today. And I came across a quote. I'm trying to send out an email every day to encourage them to do the work because we get so busy in our business world that we don't always do what is good for us to do. And so the quote I came across was just let it go. Let go of how you thought your life should be and embrace the life that is trying to work its way into your consciousness. And that's by Carolyn Myth. And I think about that all the time. It's like there's something wanting to express itself through me, and it's my authentic self. And so I think you are kind of on that same track and recognize that and want to do that. So again, thanks for checking in every day, several times a day sometimes.
Yeah, and that's what it takes, right? It's constant awareness around where we are today, where we're looking to go, and that next step, taking that next step as the staircase appears one step at a time. We often think we have to have it all ready to go because we had the inspiration to create it, but that's not really the artist's journey. And when you're an entrepreneur, you are in create mode, whether or not you consider yourself an artist. And I have to laugh because this morning, as I was getting ready, I remembered my niece at some point discovering that I was a business consultant. And she's like, wait a minute, I thought you were an artist.
Mhm.
And I
Oh,
had to,
interesting. Yeah. Well, I
yeah.
am. Yeah.
And then I
Actually,
had
I
to
am.
realize, I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I create things out of paper clips and staples or mentality to manifesting into someone's life. And that way of being flexible, I think the word agility comes to mind. is that as you're doing what you thought you needed to do, you inform that thinking, and sometimes what you thought has to be surrendered into what's coming that is more defined now. This is like the path of clarity as you're in motion, and with accountability specifically, keeping us in motion regardless of if we feel we're going careening off the highway, that place to come back to that says, okay, reset, refocus,
Mhm.
I'm continuing. That
Well,
continuing
and
is really brave.
there's also something, in between my modules in my workbook, I have a page and it says the journey continues, because I really believe that success and happiness and self-development is a journey. And part of that accountability is staying on track with where you need to be, but being flexible enough and allowing those magical moments to come in that say, yes, I am on track. Deepak Chopra said, when you have coincidences or synchronicity, it's often about you are on the right track. This is what you need to be doing. And so I think it's that ability to be flexible, to be intuitive, and at the same time take actions when the actions need to be, have the courage to take action when action is needed.
And that courageousness, like that's the beacon and the signal is like being comfortable is one click off from the courageousness. And it's not feeling defeated when you hit a bump in the road, or when you hit a pivot, like you said, that it showed up a different way than you expected it to show up. And being courageous to say, okay, yes, I'm still on the right path. The fact that something is a bump shows me that I'm moving forward.
And when it comes to skills development, I teach communication skills. And there's what I say is that people, first of all, communication is a skill you use to get your needs met. And I thought, why not? I studied biology, which I failed at miserably. But then I went into radio and television, which was a lot of fun, and I aced everything. And then I went to graduate school for rhetoric and communication. And so I teach people that if you can communicate effectively and persuasively, you can get your needs met. But what happens often is in the skills development area, and when I'm trying to help them move into a new behavior and a new skill set, they come across a terror barrier. It's like a paradigm, like a box. And as
You
they're
you
moving,
said you come across a terror barrier?
a terror barrier, you're scared to death to do what you need to do. You don't want to do it. You get sleepy. It's a little bit like when we had finals and midterms in college. When you got tired, you didn't want to do it. There's a terror barrier. There's a fear that we're up against. And if you can break through that terror barrier and just do it and let what may be, you can actually shift the paradigm and you open it up in more areas. I was in France one time. I was supposed to do something with somebody. I went to England for a communication and culture class from Kent State University. And I met a woman from France. And she said, she was helping me connect with somebody, one of my clients. And I was supposed to visit him and his family, and I couldn't because they had a death in the family. So she said, oh, you come stay with me. You come stay with me. There's a perfect stranger. I'm in England. I have an extra 10 days. All of my professors are saying, oh, what a wonderful opportunity. And I'm thinking, I can't do this. I can't do this. But I got her information. We made arrangements. I took the train. I took the bus. I took the train. I took the ferry. I took the train, the other train, and I met her at a phone booth. And I said certain words that she told me to say. And she came and picked me up. And I ended up doing the most incredible things. But that was a terror barrier. That was something outside of my paradigm. But when you shift outside of that paradigm, everything else becomes possible. So I came back and started my own business. I thought, well, heck, if I if I can do that, I can start my own business. And the more I recognize that, yeah, I'm up against it a lot. And if I had an accountability partner and I said I was going to do something and I don't want to do it, then I go back and I said, oh no, I got to do this. I said I was going to do this. And then I do it. And it makes it so much easier getting through that terror barrier.
Oh, good Lord, lady. So absolutely am I feeling this, vibing this. In fact, in the last month or so, as I've been building and we've been participating to kind of cheer each other on and challenge the resistance barriers that I feel like you're talking about here. I had three very critical pieces that I needed, thought I needed to do to accomplish what I set out to accomplish. And I have to tell you, looking back on that list of things this week, as things started to like fly into motion, I feel like I am on the other side of that. I don't
Yes.
know what I'm doing. I'm going to be confusing. This is hard to communicate. On the other side, I'm like, I had a win in all three categories in the same day.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it works. That's exactly how it works. But if you can be mindful enough, one of my B in Bliss is be mindful, because I think if you're mindful, you know what your thoughts are doing, you know what you're feeling, you know what you're anxious about, but you can turn it around because it's only a thought. Thoughts can be changed. And that's why intrapersonal communication is just as important as interpersonal communication or public speaking. You have to start with that thought. And I don't know if you're familiar with the formula E plus R equals O. The event plus your response to it equals your outcome. And I say the event can be a thought or a feeling. Then you breathe, right? And then you think about what's your response, because that's all you have control over is the response to that event. And that will change your outcome. So the way you think about it and how you respond to it is going to get you to where you want to be. And it's just a hard lesson for a lot of people to learn.
Yeah, especially when fear is the thing that is the proverbial shock fence that keeps us, inside of our own existing reality. It's the thing that keeps us stuck and safe. But like, our amygdala is the fear barrier that creates that electric fence that tells us that everything is scary until proven otherwise. Because we were designed to live in a world full of predators. And while now those predators look very different, we're constantly being bombarded with fear of being accepted, fear of making the wrong move, fear of making a fool out of ourselves. The fears are more than just survival fears. They're pretty much peppering every corner of life. And if we allow ourselves to have that fear barrier be the thing that says, oh, right, I shouldn't go beyond this because it's not safe. It's only safe in what I know, what you were saying about your existing paradigm. That's how we live a shrinking life. It's how we do less things that fulfill us. But guess where the actual living of life is on the other side of that damn fence.
That's
It's on
right.
the other side of like
And
addressing your own fear and being willing to like live on the side of it. Okay, what happens when I jump on this side? What happens when I stay? And I feel like that developing the muscle that allows us to go through the fear to the other side, it busts the myth that it is not safe on the other side. It helps us
and
to live into the fact that living is taking risks and surviving them. That gives us the proof inside to show us that, oh wow, I didn't die.
and I think that the fear can be replaced with faith. Sometimes, yeah, should I be afraid? Sometimes, yeah, but it's really a physical fear that is the most intimidating. But the ones that I have are they're limiting beliefs. That's where the fear is coming from. Either society said I should be afraid, like you were saying, or it was television said I should be afraid, or family said I should be afraid. There are just as many people on the other side, the other perspective, who says, oh no, you shouldn't be afraid. You shouldn't be afraid. So, you're looking at this fear, but there's many different perspectives to it. And I think that faith is really important. I think that listening to yourself is really important. And I think that, once you have the faith, and here's the other thing, you have the faith, you do it. Now, journal with it. Take a look at it. Make sure that you are thinking to yourself, look, it worked. I believe in wins, stacking your wins. One of my S's in Bliss is stack your wins. Okay, I was afraid of that. You journal about it. You say, wait a second. I was afraid, I didn't, whatever, I was holding back, and boom, all of this wonderful stuff happened. And you need to write that down, and you need to recognize that, and you need to realize that on the other side of that fear was something wonderful, and that it wasn't all of the imagination. They say that the past is only a memory and the future is just your imagination. And so being in the moment, you recognize that that's something, what is it? Fear is failure appearing real, right? False evidence appearing real. And just realize that no, that's just a thought and it can be changed.
Yeah. Everything is up for renewal and review, especially
So,
now that we live in this age of disruption where, entire industries are turning over, and the way people made money or made a living for their livelihood is actively dynamically changing today. So having the tools to be able to access all of the shifting, if new equals scary, there's a whole lot of evidence right now that what's coming next is to be feared and avoided. So people are either in one of two states, in fear mode around clinging to the familiarity that keeps them comfortable, or looking at it in the inversion. I wonder what opportunity this is for something greater. And if you have the mentality of miracles are everywhere, you will find miracles everywhere. If you have the mentality that nothing is sacred and everything's going away and I should be afraid, you're going to find more evidence for that. So in this tumultuous time when everything is changing, we are all going to be called at some point to take a look at where we are and what's no longer serving us, and to be able to develop the muscle, the skill to see where there's opportunities for us to move into who we're becoming. Because a mentor of mine very, very early in my career said, if you're not growing, you're dying. And that electric fence that keeps people in is a mechanism of death in a lot of ways. And especially when things are changing rapidly, that fence is going to creep in closer and closer until you've got no room to live. So there's like an imperative right now in the time that we live to be able to develop these skills. And it's so paramount. I love how you're phrasing it about unlocking your bliss, because not only does it feel better and is it more fulfilling to address your fears and overcome them and grow, it also is no longer safe to stay stuck. And I think that's the age that we're living in right now, as people are becoming aware it's no longer safe to stay as things always were and to be stuck. That is the most risky position in today's day and age.
I do I'm doing my own personal study on Gay Hendricks, The Big Leap. And he has a new book, The Big Leap Year, and every day you do something new. And he talks about the zone of excellence versus the zone of genius. And there's, for a long time, I've had my business since 1988, for almost 40 years. And I spent a lot of my time at the zone of excellence. And one of my coaches said, sometimes you have to break up with your clients. In other words, if you don't have a little bit of disruption, if I don't, if I'm willing to let go of, I mean, I have some very, very, very good clients that love me and I've been doing work with for a long time. And sometimes I was so afraid to go from the communication and presentation skills training to this unlock your bliss, but I found that they're so connected. But I was so afraid to do this, but that was my passion and that's what I love to do. And it's every moment of everything that I do, I'm like so excited about all the time. And if I didn't disrupt my business, I would be stuck. I would be doing what I've always done, and I would be getting what I always got. So I think that, and I've gone through a lot of, in my business for, almost 40 years, I've gone through a lot of disruption, and it's not such a bad thing. I think that we fear change sometimes. We fear things kind of like, I mean, there have been times where you just throw it all up in the air and hope that something lands. but now I'm doing it, but I'm consciously throwing up everything in the air and intuitively seeing what lands that I love, that I absolutely love. And I think people need to be willing to dig down. I went for many years with a coach who said, "What do you love? What do you love?" I don't know what I love because I was so influenced by, some dysfunctional parents that I could never be who I was. And what I try to do is I try to help people be more authentic and experience more magical moments. And unless you're willing to go towards your passion and follow your star and unlock that thing inside of you that makes you so happy, you'll miss those magical moments. And to me, a magical moment is when you just get goosebumps. You're just like, oh, you just are. You're at that highest level of consciousness where you just become part of everything. And so the more I can do to help my friends and family and clients experience those moments, the more valuable I think I am.
And the more on purpose you are. I mean,
Hmm.
you are the living product of your work. Hey, I'm a living testament to it as well, because I get the benefit of you and all your genius because you're helping me push my edge too. And I've seen you break things down in a way that helps me to see myself in a new way and say, oh, actually, I have grace there. Yes, I can change my mind, or yes, I can actually commit to something even more clear. And that to me, I mean, my name is Alissa. So when you say Bliss, I'm like, be Liss. Yes, that's me. Like your permission there and your guidance there is really, really, really valuable. So I want to just take a pause here because I feel like we could talk for hours, and invite you to share with people, how to best connect with you, because you are so amazing as an individual, but your work is very, very needed right now in the world. So what's the best way for people to connect with you?
Alyssa, the best way for people to connect with me would be through LinkedIn. To send me a message, to look me up, ask me to friend you and send me a message. Or if you don't want to be friends, that's okay too. Just, directly send me a message because that is something that I found people who've known me. Honest to God, I ran into somebody and she said, "Oh, the last time I saw you, you were pregnant." And my baby is now 33 or 34 years old. So we
Wow.
reconnected on LinkedIn, and that was just such a super situation. So LinkedIn is the best way. I love it. There's a lot of things that I try to post, but that would be a good way to connect with me.
Yeah, and it's a way for people to see what you're up to and have a connection, and also have a conversation. I think that's the biggest takeaway that I'm bringing away from this conversation specifically, is our accountability has opened up a new world for me in a way that I didn't know was possible before that. So encouraging people to step over that hurdle of, it's weird to just reach out to somebody who's on a podcast. It's not weird. Do
It's
it.
not
if
weird. Do
if we're
it.
not connected
Yeah.
already on LinkedIn, come see me too. I
Amazing
LinkedIn is a
things
great
happen.
place for us to
Yeah.
continue to be social and provide value for one another. So my handle is Consultress. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. That's where I hang out socially and professionally. Laverne has been amazing to get to show you to the world. So thank you very
Oh,
much
and
for being
thank
in
you.
my life.
And thank you so much. Bless you. Thank you. And keep up the good work. You're doing wonderful things, Alyssa. So take care and we'll talk again soon.
Yep, sounds great. And for those of you watching, thank you so much for being here every single week. We go live and premiere a new episode every single Monday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And I'm so happy that you're here with us this week. And don't forget to click like, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who you think would get a lot of value just meeting us and listening to us talk together, and who wants to reach out to Lorraine. She's been a blessing in my life, and I'm happy to be able to share her with you. So until next time, friends, same bat time, same bat channel. I'll see you next time. Bye.